Right. James Cameron thinks that Terminator Dark Fate is cracking. He likes it. But also believes he knows why it underperformed. This is a brand new interview with James Cameron to celebrate 40 years of Terminator. And yeah, Terminator Dark Fate. Garbage film. Absolute trash. James Cameron worked on that story, by the way. He worked on it. He also sung its praises. He also sung Genesis's praises as well. He's since come out many times and admitted that he sung Genesis's praises simply to support his buddy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is disgusting because, of course, just don't sign up to shit if you want to support someone. Don't lie to millions of people. So look, Terminator Dark Fate was garbage. It was absolute rubbish. But James Cameron thinks it was good. But also says he knows why it underperformed. So let's take a look, because this chap believes he has a plan now for the future of the Terminator franchise. He's going to make multiple Terminator films. Yes, that's right. Yeah, multiple. So let's see what you guys think of his opinion here, whether it's worth its salt or not. Because again, as much as he has a lot of swings and hits, which he obviously does, he does have swings and misses. Terminator Dark Fate is a miss by James Cameron. He worked on the story. That's a miss. It's an absolute miss. So, in theory, 2019's Terminator Dark Fate was supposed to be the sequel of fans' dreams. No. After the misfires of Rise of the Machines, Salvation, and Genesis, James Cameron finally returned to his own franchise as producer, and also story, teaming up with director Tim Miller to create a bona fide sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. One, bringing back Linda Hamilton as an older Sarah Connor, with Arnold Schwarzenegger on killer robot duties, all while introducing a whole new cast of younger heroes. Oh yeah, and murdering John Connor straight away. What a miss. James Cameron likes that part, by the way. He said that before. But despite solid reviews from brain-dead critics, Dark Fate suffered a, dark fate, failing to capture audiences at the box office. It underperformed, making just over $260 million on like a $200 million budget, I think, if I remember rightly off the top of my head, and remains the last big screen outing for the franchise as of now. It says here, but despite the film's box office struggles, Cameron remains positive about Dark Fate. Right, okay. Particularly Gabriel Luna's 2-in-1 T-800 meets T-1000 killer baddie, the Rev 9. The Rev 9 was crap. I think the Rev 9 was cool as shit, he tells Empire. Yeah, you also don't want guns in any of your films from now on. I remember that. Personally, I think that's as good as anything that we did back then. Yeah, that's the problem. It was a rehash, you dunce. But really poorly done. As for why the film failed to find an audience, Cameron places the blame at his own feet. Our problem was not that the film didn't work. The problem was people didn't show up. I've owned this to Tim Miller many times. I said I torpedoed that movie before we ever wrote a word or shot a foot of film. So, apparently the issue, Cameron says, he started getting high on his own supply, creating a direct Terminator 2 sequel, leaning too hard into the return. He said this before. So he thinks Terminator Dark Fate failed because Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sarah Connor came back. Yeah, I mean, it couldn't possibly be the fact that you lambasted fans before the film's release. Do you remember that? You're all a bunch of incels, misogynistic incels. Do you remember that? I remember that. Do you remember? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, no, it wasn't to do with Arnold and Linda Hamilton returning. Wasn't anything to do with that, you idiot. Today, he doubts it's what audiences wanted. We achieved our goal. We made a legit sequel to a movie where the people that were actually going to theatres at the time that movie came out are all either dead, retired, crippled, or have dementia. It was a non-starter. There was nothing in the movie for a new audience. So why did you kill off the legacy character of John Connor and introduce a new cast then, if there was nothing in the audience, if there's nothing in the movie for a new audience, none of this makes sense. This is just waffle from James Cameron. Like, legit waffle. Even though he feels that, quote, we miscalculated the whole thing, Cameron still ranks it amongst the best entries in the franchise. I think the film's cracking, he says. I still think mine are the best, but I put it in solid third. No, mate, Dark Fate is actually genuinely worse than Terminator Salvation. I quite like Salvation. You're absolutely full of it. Your judgment on this was atrocious. Now remember, ladies and gents, he has a vested interest in promoting this because he came out, well, in defending this anyway, because he came up with some of the story. This is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. The Rev 9 was crap. This is a rubbish iteration. Or, sorry, a rubbish edition. Absolute rubbish. Like, just completely pointless. Ridiculous. And this whole nonsense of saying, oh, well, you know, our problem was not that the film didn't work. Yes, it was. The film didn't work. And that was all down to story. No, literally nothing else. All down to story. Story was crap. Then you came out and you lambasted people before the film's release. I remember it. I remember it. In fact, here it is. Terminator Dark Fate will scare the F out of sexist trolls, says director. Ah, right, yeah. Yeah, couldn't possibly be that, you know, had an issue. That definitely didn't annoy people. Nope. If you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters, Tim Miller told Variety. If you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the F out of you. Because she's tough and strong, but very feminine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Terminator fans are historically misogynistic and incels, and they don't like women at all. Right. Okay. We did not trade certain gender traits for others. She's just very strong, and that frightens some dudes. You can see online the responses to some of the early shit that's out there. Trolls on the internet. I don't give an F. Yeah, okay. James, mate. Yes, the film didn't work, and actually, you probably shouldn't have come out and insulted people before the film's release. And to say that this is the third, no, you're wrong. You are actually just wrong. It wasn't very good at all. Saying that you put too much... You didn't put too much emphasis on Arnie and Linda returning. That's nonsense as well. Like, that's actually nonsense. If you achieved what you set out to do, well, it was shit. It was crap. And to say that everyone that watched it are dead, retired, crippled, or have dementia, that's nonsense. It was a non-starter. There was nothing in the movie for a new audience. That's nonsense. Complete nonsense. That's nonsense. Disregard. Complete disregard. Why? Because, of course, you added new people to the equation. So it's nonsense. This is all nonsense. Pathetic. Pathetic. Wash your hands. James Cameron, please don't come back to Terminator. You're crap. Just stick to pissing around with blue people. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. This is an annoying interview. And I know some people would happily drink water from James Cameron's anal cavity, I'm sure. But hey, look, this is a ridiculous interview. He's talking utter drivel here. And if you can't see that, then God help you.